What's up? What's up? This is All on the Line here with Max and Mayo. Interesting round of 16 and the quarterfinals. This is all powered by 3 Crown Sports and Media. You can wager on 3 Crown Sportsbook. Just send us a message, and just so you can submit your wagers. How you been, Max?
Pretty good. Been tired of waking up early all these days, with no reason, just to watch these games. From our last episode, we've now seen the results of the round of 16 and the quarterfinals. So we're going to go through each of those games, talk a little bit about what we saw, and then move on to the semis and who we think is going to win the final now that we're at our final 4. So round of 16 was not surprising. We'll start with the first game, Netherlands, USA. Netherlands won 3-1. Nothing surprising by my end. The US I think they have to change their type of game, especially against a team like Netherlands. I don't think Netherlands is a big team to be afraid of. Especially, I don't think Netherlands should have beaten the US by 2 goals. Also, the Depay thing with the tweet he posted and everything, just a huge scandal there. Did you see it? The Memphis Depay, what he posted? Yeah, the Depay is like a lot of bark, no bite.
Yeah.
And the thing is, with the US, I feel they're a very young team. They were the second youngest team in the knockout stages in the World Cup. So they have a lot to learn from this. They have players who are going to be in their prime in 2026. So hopefully, whenever this World Cup does come to the US, Mexico, and Canada in 4 years, the US takes a little bit of what they learned here and moves it forward to their benefit. Because I feel, like I said, that they were one of the youngest teams here. I feel it was expected for the US to make the knockouts, but anything past the knockouts would have been like a marvelous thing. But now that we made it here, we see how defensive the coaches have played and how their lack of attacking ability. The goal we had was a deflection off of Pifok's. I think it was right foot. It somehow went up in the air and into the far post. I feel there needs to be a change in the coaching for the U.S. for sure. As of this moment, Greg Berhalter is still the U.S. men's national team's coach. It's talks that he is in the works of signing a new contract. And there's some stuff we want to talk about that, but we'll have a special episode dedicated to that. Yeah.
Talk about Gio Reyna,
Greg Berhalter, and all that stuff.
No surprises in that game. I think I would have liked to see a 2-1, although I really enjoyed the U.S. losing by 2 goals. But the players that I think that played good was probably Blind, right? I think I would have wanted to see more from Adams or even from like Pulisic, but I think Gio Reyna at the end really solidified the team. I would have wanted to watch him more. I think he's a great player. I think Pepe would have made a huge difference. I think Ferreira, right, had a terrible game.
Yeah.
Which looked like when Raul Jimenez entered the pitch against Argentina. It just didn't make any sense to have him there. He did not play like a World Cup player should play. I think Adams was at fault for one of the goals, but from there, I don't think anything different. That game wasn't one of my favorite ones to watch.
Yeah. Again, I am like a big FC Dallas fan. I am from Dallas, support them. So seeing Jesus Ferreira play his first minutes in the World Cup was kind of a bittersweet thing because it's awesome seeing him play. But at the same time, I think it was one of the worst games Berhalter could have put him in.
Yeah.
Did not play him a single minute in the first 3 games, which would have been like his getting his feet wet at the World Cup. And then he decides to put him in the biggest game the nation has had in 8 years against a pretty strong Netherlands team. I just felt it was the wrong moment to give Ferreira his chance. But yeah, we'll see. Ferreira is still fairly young. I'm pretty sure he's 21 years old right now. So he'll be 25 by the 24, 25 by the next World Cup. Should be pretty ready if he decides he wants to continue that route and play hard and motivated. All he has to do is convince the next head coach that, or if it's Berhalter, convince him that he deserves a spot in that World Cup.
Yeah, so just like that was said, I think the next game is Argentina, Australia, and that leaves a lot to talk about. 2-1, Argentina. They played an Australia team that honestly is all heart and nothing that has to do with playing good soccer or football or any other.
It's soccer.
Australia, honestly, I think is one of the biggest surprises of the World Cup, but I don't think they played good tactically. I just think they really had a lot of heart. But like I've been saying since the first game that Argentina played, we haven't seen a game where Argentina just looks great at all. I think none of the games, even if we go to the quarterfinals, I don't think there's a game that we can say Argentina's playing super good football. They're going to win the World Cup. I think even now everybody thinks France is going to win it, but Argentina isn't playing this great football. I mean, 4 or 3 of the goals that Messi has are from the penalty spot, which is insane to me. Like I said, he's a fraud. He shouldn't be. He shouldn't be anywhere close to the semis. But, I mean, 2-1, and Australia had it at the end to tie it. I just think, I don't know, that it should have been a 3-1, 4-1. It should never have been that close.
Yeah, I don't think it should have been that close, but Argentina did end up getting that win over Australia. Nothing crazy. The one Australia goal came off Argentina own goal. So, as you see, like, not a lot of attacking fear on the side of Australia. Argentina won that pretty comfortably, but I like you said, I would want to see them a little more take control over games like these. The next game we see here is Japan versus Croatia. 1-1 draw with Croatia winning it in penalties. Thoughts about that game?
Japan. That is probably one of the teams that you look at and since we are from the other side of the world, we don't understand Japanese football. We don't understand their tactics. We don't understand anything. We just understand some of the players that play for that team. We understand that they have good players. Some of them play in the Premier League. Some of them play in Europe. But that Japanese team came in against Croatia being the underdog and somehow ties the game. And what I would have liked is Japan to pass. But Croatia, I think, has not lost a penalty shootout ever in the World Cup. So they went into a penalty shootout. Like I said, I don't think Croatia is anywhere near to good. Props to Modric, who just plays really good in times where teams need him to play good. He's probably going to go down as one of the best center midfielders of the history of the sport, especially if he gets to the World Cup final.
Yeah, I mean, he is a Ballon d'Or winner. Won the Ballon d'Or, I'm pretty sure it was 2018. He's up there in one of the better midfielders, not just midfielders, but better players in the world. Of really killing the game. So at age 37, that's still wild to me that he could be moving and playing at this intensity for at his age. But props to Croatia to making it past Japan that game. Next game, Brazil's 4-1 demolition of South Korea.
Brazil, disappointing. I mean, Brazil did what they had to against South Korea. They beat them 4-1, which wasn't anything surprising. Neymar scored, Richarlison scored, Vini scored, all their top players scored. It just seemed like they were the best team after Spain in the World Cup, and nothing there surprising. Neymar comes back and scores from the penalty spot, but I don't think there's anything surprising. It showed just Neymar's quality and that's it. I don't think it proved anything about Brazil.
Yeah, I don't think it proved much. Brazil were having the time of their lives
Dancing.
with those celebrations and stuff like that. But yeah, I feel it's the right confidence you need for a World Cup. But ultimately, it came back to bite them, and we'll see that as we get into the quarterfinals. But we'll continue it. Next game, France Poland. For me, no surprises there. I think we all knew France was going to destroy Poland, and that's not me just saying it as a Mexico fan who's bittersweet that Poland made it before we did. But yeah,
I think we would have gave Poland. I don't think Poland had any business going to the round of 16. I honestly think that team had nothing to show for. The only goal they scored was off a penalty kick in Lewandowski, which was basically given to him just to score. It was in the last minutes of the game. He missed the first one, which he would have tied Messi for the record of most missed penalties in a World Cup. I just think that game just shows a lot about Poland. I really honestly think we would have gave France a better game. I still think Mbappé scores 2 goals. Mbappé is just he's killing every stat.
He's on another level.
He's not a surprise of this World Cup, but he is showing what a lot of people don't believe he will do in the future, right? I mean, he's 23. He's won a World Cup. He has more goals than I think Messi in the World Cup, and he only has 2. He's in the semifinals now. He's breaking every single stat that Messi couldn't accomplish. But this is the thing that we've been talking about for years, right? People of my parents' generation are like Maradona is the greatest player of all time, or Pelé, right? And then Messi comes and he breaks every single goal record that Maradona would have probably never accomplished. But now we see a player like Mbappé, and we're going to have our generation say, no, Messi was better. Messi was better, right? But Mbappé is breaking every single record Messi had in the sport, you know?
Ronaldo's better, but that's besides the point.
Well, for now, Mbappé is proving to be even better than Ronaldo and Messi at the age of 20.
Yeah.
Projection, I mean, in terms of projection, Mbappé is in that lane to be the greatest player of all time.
I feel people don't talk about him too much as one of the greatest of all time just because of his age. 23, and his inability to get that coveted Champions League with that with a very, very, very good PSG team. I feel people judge him too much on that, but at the same time, he's won a World Cup, and he's taken that another France team to the semifinals so far. We don't know how far they're gonna get in this World Cup, but to make it to win a World Cup and then to make it to the semifinals the very next year, and then to just never be considered as one of the greatest of all time is kind of mind-boggling to me. But again, Pelé won how many World Cups?
3.
So
he's on the track if he wins this World Cup.
Yeah, and my thing is
to catch up to Pelé.
People say Messi and Ronaldo are better than Pelé, and none of them have a World Cup to their name.
Yeah. So
it just really, like you say, with that thing you mentioned earlier, people are going to think that the best player is from that generation they grew up in. For us, we're going to continue to say Messi, Ronaldo. But
in my case, Maradona.
Yeah, or Maradona, you know. But, you know, there's going to be a lot of newer kids, younger kids who are just starting to watch the game, get a feel for it. They're not going to know the greatness that Messi and Ronaldo were. They don't know who Maradona is at this point.
Yeah, at this point.
And all they're going to see is players like Mbappe who are killing it in the game, and that's going to be their GOAT.
Yeah.
So it's just crazy to see, but ultimately we'll never reach who we think would be the greatest of all time.
We should start giving him credit. That's all I'm gonna say. We're gonna move on to England against Senegal. Not surprising at all. The Senegal team that played probably their best matchup was against the Netherlands. England was 4 times better than the Netherlands. So 3-0, nothing to ask for. Harry Kane, did he score that game? Because he's been down.
Harry
bad.
Kane did score in that game.
You go.
He's been down bad.
Yeah, he hasn't scored much. So
yeah, but ultimately nothing crazy there. I think we all saw that happening. But one that we didn't see happening was the next game. Morocco-Spain. I
think the hardest take here is that Spain was the best team in the World Cup, without a doubt. I think they were playing the best football, and I think them and Brazil were the two teams that we were like, okay, these two teams can win the World Cup. For some reason, when you have 11 guys in the behind the 18th mark, obviously no one will be able to score. I think Morocco has played their game very efficiently. I'm actually the surprise of this World Cup has to be Hakimi. Without a doubt, Hakimi. I'm actually very happy that Hakimi scored on Spain because of his history and his life and how it developed. He's from Madrid. His parents had very low income jobs in Madrid. Now he plays for Morocco, which obviously Morocco has a huge history with Spain, going back to the 1500s and everything. And this all has to do with patriotism and everything. Hakimi scores a goal to beat Spain and to qualify, doing it de Panenka, which is crazy. The disrespect is very it's there.
And in his celebration afterwards, he did the celebration that him and Sergio Ramos normally do. That's just an amazing touch. Following that game, Luis Enrique, the head coach for Spain, was fired, was removed from his position. And yeah, that's just an interesting one to see. Luis Enrique in Spain decided that they needed to work on new projects. Luis Enrique, after another failed attempt at greatness, is off, losing to a Morocco team with a very young and talented Spain squad. But yeah, one thing I will mention is the Mexican Federation have been in talks with Luis Enrique. So
that would be awesome. I think his game is.
I think it would be nice. I really enjoy his game. Yeah, and he enjoys young talent, and I think that's something that Mexico needs.
Yeah.
So, but
next game, Portugal, Switzerland. That was surprising. I didn't see Portugal beating Switzerland 6-1. I was more of on the edge of a 3-1, 2-1. Then comes out the surprise that Ronaldo isn't gonna play. His backup scores a hat trick. He goes in, he scores, but he's offside. Everything's going bad for Ronaldo. But it came to bite Portugal in the butt, and we'll talk about that about the quarterfinals. But for this game, nothing surprising. Serbia would have been a better suited team against Portugal, I believe. I don't think Switzerland had anything to show for besides Shaqiri, which plays for Chicago Fire, and that one player who was born in Cameroon, who I think played a horrible match, but he has some nice sparks in him. He'll probably end up playing in the Premier League. What's his name? Embolo. He's one of a player that I think is projected to be one of the top strikers in the world. So I really like his game. I didn't think he showed anything during the Portugal game. Ramos had a lucky 3 hat tricks. I don't think he'll ever do that again in his life, honestly.
No, I feel for Gonzalo Ramos, you have to take a look at it. He is 21.
Yeah.
So fairly young, and for him to have that big of a game already, currently plays for Benfica and stuff like that. I feel like Gonzalo, he has a method of playing that could be beneficial, especially now as Portugal are moving out of this Ronaldo era. Him and Rafa Leao, I think they have great. Portugal has a great future post Ronaldo, and I could say the same thing with Messi or with Argentina. They're going to have a great future post Messi, but I feel Portugal is in a better situation than Argentina are.
A player I think that was very surprising, Joao Felix, great player. That was probably his best game of the World Cup so far. Well, yeah, they're out, but that was their best game, his best game. And then Bruno Fernandes for that team were, I think, the 2 players that really brought the Portugal team to the quarterfinals. And obviously, we'll talk about the quarterfinals now with Morocco and Portugal, right?
Yeah.
That was the game. Did you watch the game?
I did, and I don't know how to really pronounce his name, but Yosef and Nasiri,
I think.
he got up there. He got up there with that header to score that goal. I'm pretty sure he jumped higher than Ronaldo in that Juventus game.
Yeah, I think the goal was very impressive. Again, Morocco plays 11 players in the back. It's just really difficult to score. And this is where like maybe Ronaldo would have helped a lot because just in opening spaces and then trying to man mark him would have really designed the game. This is why I think Morocco in the next game will have a lot of trouble because now you have to man mark Mbappe, and that will probably be Hakimi. But let's be honest, Mbappe, I don't think there's many defenders that can easily like lock him down.
Well, I think to the benefit of Hakimi is that he plays with Mbappe. So there's that opportunity of him already knowing the little history and background of Mbappe, so he knows how to approach a defensive style towards him. But yeah. So that game, I don't know. Morocco plays a really boring game, so it's really hard to watch this type of football. But I'm so happy for the African team because of the fact that it's the first African team to ever make the semifinals. They're doing it big and they're playing good football, right? So there's a difference between being boring but
and
good.
Playing good football is different, right? They've only gotten one goal scored on, and it was autogol by their own player. So far, not even in penalties they gotten scored on. So far, they haven't gotten scored at all. That keeper is probably going to be the keeper, I think, of the tournament, Bono. So Morocco, I hope, for the enjoyment of the game, I hope they don't win the next game. But because I think it's the only team I'm cheering for since Argentina did kind of knock us out of the World Cup, I do not want to see Messi win a World Cup because I don't think he deserves. I don't think he deserves it. I honestly don't think he deserves it at all.
No.
No.
Next game. France, England. France beating England 2-1. Harry Kane missing a penalty in the last minute. Who I said was going to be the top goal scorer, golden boot winner. Absolutely had arguably the worst World Cup we've seen for a player of his quality.
Yeah, I think his penalty just showed the frustration that he had throughout the game. The French team just didn't demolish England, but they played better than the English team. The two penalties, I think both of them were penalties, but I was sitting there watching the game, and I was like, if Harry Kane shoots it, he's not going to score. Because of the fact that he isn't a player who will just put it on the corner of the goalpost. He's a player who just bombs the ball. And when you just bomb the ball, and that's your quality for shooting penalties, where are you going to shoot it? You didn't think about that. You just think about blasting the ball, and that's exactly what he did. He blasted the ball, and he did it too hard. Sadly, I wanted to see England in the final. It's not going to happen. I think the English team, they played the French team, but I just think they had a lot to show for, and I think they have a really promising squad. But yeah, I think this might be Harry Kane's last World Cup, or maybe he has one more in him.
I think he has one more in him, but yeah, we have to see how his mentality grows after this, because England have made it to the semifinals or finals in the past three major tournaments they've been in. And after they got relegated to the second league in the Nations League, I'm pretty sure, and then getting out in the quarterfinals when they were expected to win it all. Very disappointment. Some very heavy questions you have to ask of Gareth Southgate at this point. But yeah, he's gonna get the Berhalter treatment, I feel. So
yeah. Next game is Croatia-Brazil, and that game was probably one of the better games of the World Cup so far, just because of the fact that we saw very high quality football from both teams. I honestly just think that Croatia was carried by Luka Modric in that game. They played very defensive in extra times, which I think really benefited them. But that Neymar goal was probably one of the best goals of the World Cup. He just goes through the Croatian defense like it's nothing. It's probably one of my favorite goals of the World Cup.
It's beautiful.
It was just, I thought that was it. I turned off actually my TV because there was only like 5 minutes left or 8 minutes left when he scored. And then I get a call from one of my cousins, and he's cheering on Croatia, obviously, and he like rubs it in my face. But I'm actually glad. I wanted to see Brazil play Argentina, but I'm kind of glad they're out, just because of the fact that you had them. That way, I don't. Technically I'm winning the.
Yeah, technically you're winning, so I'm basically out. But yeah,
and your second pick in the last video was Spain also.
Yeah, so Brazil and Spain are both out, and then I think my third pick was I forget, but they're out too. I'm pretty sure.
Well, in your bracket you had.
Oh, I had Argentina third.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't want them to win, honestly. But you have Neymar, fantastic goal. You have to ask some questions about Tite. You know, how is Neymar not going to take a penalty?
Yeah.
Your best penalty taker. Yes, a lot of teams are like save him for fifth so they can take the glory.
No.
But how are they going to take the glory if you don't even get to the fifth penalty?
That penalty was just. Why do you have Marquinhos shoot a penalty? I don't care about his penalty stats. I don't care about anything. Neymar should have been fourth. Neymar should have been fourth or third. Croatia put Modric third, thinking that they were going to be down, in the penalty shootout. Usually when you put a player earlier is because you think that you might have a chance of being down in a penalty shootout. But Neymar was... they put Neymar fifth, basically thinking that Croatia and Brazil were going to be tied by the last shot. And Croatia did it completely the opposite thing. The Marquinhos shot was terrible. But from that, I think... I mean, it's penalties. It's basically...
It's a 50-50 shot.
It's a 50-50. I think they should really change the format of that game. But I don't think penalties really makes a team better than another one. It's all down to pressure. It's all down to luck, basically. So, I mean, Croatia passed to the semis. The last game was Argentina, Netherlands. And again, Argentina doesn't play this great game. They tie, actually, and they go to penalties. So none of these games that we've seen Argentina play, we see this great Messi. We just see sparks of Messi, which is nice to see because that assist that he had was really nice. But against the Netherlands, I don't think the Netherlands is this great team. So Argentina beat them in penalties. Surprising to have Lionel Messi shoot first. Or maybe not surprising, but basically if Lionel Messi misses that penalty, you basically have a whole Argentina team relying on the players that he looks up to, and then it just brings out the dynamic of the game. Mm-hmm. So I don't think Lionel Messi shooting first was good because of the fact that he has already missed penalties. If he's a great shooter, I'll have him first. Yeah. And I would have put Ronaldo first if I get the first shot because of the fact that I know he's going to score. He's going to bring the dynamic of the game up, and then you win the penalties. But they won the penalty shootouts. Argentina, nothing special. No surprises from any of those teams. I thought that Martinez was going to miss the penalty.
Dardo, yep.
Yeah, but
yeah.
Sad for the Croatian team.
The ending of that game.
The Netherlands team.
The ending of that Netherlands game, at least the regular time, phenomenal ending. You had basically a last-minute goal, fights all over. It just, you felt that energy. That's the energy like you kind of want to see in competitive games like this. So I was glad that a game like this happened, but I'm also kind of glad that the Netherlands are out. No era penal.
No era penal. Yeah.
Kind of glad they felt they didn't make it either. So, yeah.
So now we're going to go down to the semifinals, and this is recorded before the semifinals, which start tomorrow. The first game tomorrow is Argentina against Croatia, and we're gonna go over bets that we can wager on, and then also we're gonna just talk about who will qualify. So I honestly think that this Argentina team will not surprise tomorrow either. I think either they get tied on, they win in penalties or win in extra times, or they just win comfortably 1-0. But honestly, I would hit the under 2.5 goals at -135 because of the fact that Croatia is not going to really play offensively. We see these European teams from that area specifically play very defensively and then counterattack, and they have the players to do so. Just that they played in extra times, so both teams played in extra times. Argentina is a much younger team, so Croatia is going to come into this game basically kind of already like exhausted from the last game because Brazil danced on them for a while. So under 2.5 goals, I don't think it's going to be a lot of goals. But that being said, I do think Argentina wins the game, whether it's 2-0, 1-0. So I would do the handicap -1 for +140 for Argentina. And I have to do this. I don't think he will score, but Lionel Messi to score maybe a penalty again. +145. But I think Argentina qualifies easily out of this matchup. I think the Croatia team showed a lot of effort. I don't think they played the best football. But basically, if Mexico was in this position, we would have gotten to Croatia. I mean, we would have played. If we would have tied Argentina, we had a chance to become first in our group. Being first in our group, we would have played Australia. We would have beaten Australia for sure. I don't even doubt that. We would have beaten Australia. Now we're playing against the Netherlands. We basically beat the Netherlands team because it was robbed from us from the no era penal 4 years ago. We beat the Netherlands team. Then we go up against Croatia, which we beaten before. We basically could have been World Cup champions. That's what I'm saying. Honestly, it's a hard take, but if you really look at I don't think so, man. The Argentinian pathway wasn't that strong. Who do you think we lose to? The Netherlands?
Australia? No, I'm kidding.
We lose to the Aussies?
the Netherlands, but
the Netherlands?
Yeah, I do feel
no. This is the U.S. is trash, so they compare Mexico to this U.S. team.
I mean, that might have been true like a couple years ago, but now, No,
I think we beat the Netherlands. I don't think the Netherlands is a really good team. I honestly don't think they played really good.
Tough take.
I don't think they're good. It's just that USA. It's the thing is that the USA is bad. That's it. That's the only reason why they lost. I don't think they're good. I honestly don't think they're good.
You say the USA is bad?
They're a bad team.
What happened the last three?
No, we don't. We don't.
No. The last three finals.
We had a bad coach.
Do you think Berhalter is better?
No, but I think you guys have a coach that actually brings your youth, which is really important.
Sure. But
I mean, you're gonna tell me we're gonna compare Pepe to Raúl Jiménez.
To Santi Jiménez.
Okay, and I still think Santi Jiménez is a better player than
and I do think both of them should have gone to the World Cup. There you see the incompetence of both coach.
Exactly.
So
but you
can't say one coach is better.
One got to the quarterfinals or to round of 16.
Round of 16.
One got to round of 16. The other team didn't even qualify.
And
we should have beat Poland.
Yeah.
If Santi Jiménez is there, we may even win that game. We should have tied Argentina. And then we should have beat Saudi Arabia by like 4 or 5 goals.
I'm just saying, I think you're hyping up Mexico a little too much.
No, I don't think so.
After the past 4 years and their performances.
I think we have good players. We have a solid team. And we have something that a lot of people don't have, which is a great crowd.
Crowd is important.
Yeah. When you hear El Cielito Lindo, and 10 minutes into a game against Argentina, who has one of the biggest crowds of the World Cup, there's no reason for you to lose a game. Honestly, that should just bring you up. It should just bring you up. And what does the U.S. have? They have a huge crowd, but all they chant is, I believe we will win.
We will win.
That's all they chant. You're going to tell me El Cielito Lindo doesn't overpower I believe we will win?
Yeah, but you gotta take into account, too, like the U.S. has had its down spot 4 years ago, not making the World Cup. So of course they're going to be maneuvering things differently. But you can't say Mexico is better than the U.S. and that the U.S. compares itself to Mexico.
I think player by player, if we keep looking at it, I think Mexico's still superior to the U.S. And that's a hard take because of what we saw in the World Cup. But I think player by player, we keep
and
looking,
the Gold Cup.
I think Chucky
and
Lozano,
the Nations League.
Chucky Lozano. Well, yeah, but we had Tata. Give us Luis Enrique, and we'll see. We'll see who's the better team.
We had Greg Berhalter, bro.
Okay, well that's your federation's fault.
A coach who got fired from an MLS team, who then the year after he left won the MLS Cup.
Yeah, the MLS Cup.
Yeah, but that means he had that exact same team, and was last with that team. After he leaves, they win the MLS Cup.
I just think player by player, we're better. I think the only player that is better than our midfielders is McKinney. I think Chucky is a little better than Pulisic. I think they're there. I don't think it's like something like very big, but I think Chucky Lozano is a much better player than Pulisic. I do think McKinney is probably better than any midfielder we have, but I don't think Tyler Adams is this great player either. So
wow.
He played really good, but the reason why you lose that game is because of Tyler Adams not coming back to mark his guy, which is Depay, and that's why he scored. But I mean, those are problems within the U.S. team because they play this defensive game, which they shouldn't be playing, because they have the players there to play a really good type of football. They just need a coach. I just still think that player by player, Mexico is the better team. And I think we would have beaten Netherlands. And we could have beaten Croatia. I don't think we beat them, but I think we could beat Croatia.
Well, with this, we're going to go deeper into the U.S. a little later in another episode. But going back to Argentina-Croatia, I think Croatia wins. That is a plus 205. So, pretty important one. I think, again, Croatia sits back. Argentina won't be able to do much, and again I feel they're going to choke in the penalties, and Messi's going to miss yet another penalty, and
which should be 3.
He's going to
record of 3 goals.
He's going to retire from international football for the 4th time or something like that.
Yeah.
So
he'll come back if he doesn't win.
I think Croatia wins that game. And then going to the next game, I think France wins, and I think we will have a replay of the 2018 World Cup final.
Yeah, I think Morocco is done here. I don't think, like I said, I think the set pieces are there for Morocco to lose. I think Mbappe is just a much better player, and it's going to take one goal. France makes scores in the first 30 minutes, the game's over. It's over. Because Morocco then has to attack, and the only attacking player they have is Hakimi. So basically, the only player that I think has been playing really good, obviously all of them have played good, but I don't think any of those players will be outstanding to win this game and go to the final. So I have France -1 as a handicap plus 155, and Mbappe obviously to score anytime. It might be a 4-1. I think 4-0, 3-0, 2-0. Book that 4-0, 2-0, 3-0. I think France passes. Argentina-France final. Yeah, so now this takes us to the finals, the champion. So you have Croatia against...
Yeah, I have a Croatia versus France, which if that happens, that parlay, it's a plus 271. So something I would definitely try and put my money worth. And again, Croatia-France, I feel, is going to be a replay of 2018. Same way that Croatia struggled in 2018, I feel they will struggle today. And France. I ultimately think France will...
To win the World Cup.
Yeah, back-to-back champ.
I hope France wins the World Cup. I don't really... The only reason why I want France to win the World Cup is because of Mbappe, and I think he deserves the World Cup. I think he's one of the only players besides probably Hakimi and Modric who really deserve the World Cup. All three of those players have played extraordinary soccer. Obviously, Messi will get the MVP of the World Cup because it's Messi. and he should have gotten a red card in the last game, for the handball, the intentional handball, and he already had a yellow card. But it's Messi, so obviously they're not going to give him a red card. He shouldn't even be playing against Croatia. But I hope Mbappe wins the World Cup. That way, I remember in the lunch table, probably in high school, with one of my friends, I actually told him, I was like, if Messi wins the World Cup, which I thought would never happen, I was like, I then put him as the greatest player of all time. From seeing this game, like the games he's been playing, I don't think he's the greatest player of all time. But if he wins the World Cup, he ultimately gets the greatest player of all time. There's no if, buts, or maybes. He is the greatest player of all time.
He's trash.
He is trash. I think he's really good, but he's not. I don't think he does anything extraordinary. He scored against Australia, and he scored a penalty.
Pretty good goal against Australia.
Yeah,
but most of his other goals have been penalties.
I think the only one that I will remember about Messi is that assist, where he has this like the vision of where the player is, and he like basically tres dedos assists the goal. So I think that's the only play I really remember besides the goal on Mexico. I mean Messi has been lost. There's a reason why Van Gaal said that he just walks around, because he does just walk around. He doesn't fight for the ball. He doesn't do anything. If anything, he loses. He's one of the players who, if we look at the stats of who has lost the most balls during a game, like in terms of like going one-on-one against a defender, it's Messi. Every single game he loses so many balls for Argentina. And I'm glad that we're getting out of the stage of playing for just one player, because I don't think France really plays for Mbappe, because Giroud has been playing really good. So I honestly think, I hope Mbappe wins it, but I think Argentina's going to win the World Cup, which I said in the start of the World Cup.
Hot take, I think Giroud is going to be considered one of the greatest strikers of all time after he retires.
I don't like how he plays, so I
think he's had some great showings in different places, has made some big plays, big goals, and I just feel just because he doesn't have the big name that a lot of these other players have, people sleep on him too much. But upon his retirement, we're going to look at his achievements and we're going to consider him as one of the greatest.
I don't think so, but I think Giroud is like, I think he's a player that fits well. I think even if we had Gignac in the French team, he would score. I mean, when you have a midfield like the French team, and you have Mbappe, who is going to get man-marked by a defender all the time, no one is going to ever concentrate on Giroud. Without a doubt, that goal that he scored against England is a very good goal. I will not argue that. But I do not think he's this... I think Harry Kane's better. I think Lewandowski's better, like just in terms of soccer. But in terms of stats, obviously, yeah, that he will be it's obviously is a hot take, but I don't see him being this like top 5 best forwards of all time.
Well, yeah, I think this wraps up.
I think that's it. I mean, top goal scorer, Mbappe has 5. Messi has 5. Mbappe has 6.
I mean, Kylian, I think homeboy got it.
Yeah, I think Mbappe scores next game for sure. He might score even in the final. I mean, he was one of the only players to actually score from like the current ones in the actual playoffs, like in the actual knockout rounds. Messi hadn't scored till he played Australia. So yeah. Ronaldo hasn't scored in the knockout rounds either. So, I mean, he's doing it. He's doing everything. I wish Erling would play for England. Then we would see the clash of both of those players. But Mbappe, I mean,
kind of hard to argue that. Messi, no,
he's a fraud. Well, that wraps us up. This is all on the line. Thank you for watching. Max, you have an ugly sweater.
Pura America, you know. Mira.
All right, thanks, guys.
Ya tú sabes.